Hi guys, so I wanted to give you three things. Three things that can change your life, and I'll give you an example first before I go into those three things. So back in 2015, I was in a really dark place. I was struggling with my mental health immensely, and it took me to the point of an attempt on my life. It was at that moment that I realized that something needed to change. And I had been going and I had learnt yoga, the physical capacity anyway. I was doing all of my exercise. I wasn't, I was saying that I was thinking positively, but I wasn't practicing any meditation or conscious awareness in my breath. I was continually having a lot of anxiety and struggle. At that time, I was living in Saudi Arabia. We lived there for about a year and a half. It was a very isolating experience, beautiful people that I got to know, but a very isolating experience. At that time, it was a closed country. And I had a 2-year-old. And I kept saying to everybody, I'm doing everything I can to feel better. I was eating healthy, I was exercising, isn't that all there is to it? But I wasn't well. I was mentally not very well. It was at that moment that I realized that I had to change three things in my life. Now, I was very depleted. I had an extremely rough few years through some trauma, losing a child. A lot of other things had gone on in my life, a separation, and over that last few years, and all of those things had accrued. And when I finally had a child, I was set in a deep sense of disbalance, mind, body, and soul, and I had a long way to go to recover. And no matter how much exercise I did or eating healthy, it wasn't enough, because I wasn't working from the most important aspect, which was my mind. And people would have conversations and information for you, but the thing is that only when you are ready will you change. So what I had to do was I had to really look within, and I have to continually do this daily. I am currently running again, and I'm fighting the battle to feel not worthy in the running, because I used to be running at a very high level. And so every time I start to go running, I get anxiety, and then I don't want to run because maybe I won't get the time that I want, and it's just a horrible situation. So I have to learn to take a deep breath and go into the moment and just enjoy the running. Right now, it's something that I'm mindfully working on, because I can create so much anxiety about something that can be so joyful for me at the same time when I do the run. And that's what we can do as humans. And the thing that I guess I want to stress is there are a lot of things that disbalance us. And one of the things that people talk about is dopamine. And we are often on a dopamine high because, the text messages coming through, the bright lights and pretty reels and quick flashes on social media, the need to buy everything now, the quick fixes, the incredible access to so many things that are frivolous in a way, that we have no longer any kind of challenge, resilience, or suffering, that we're really kind of depleted. Because you need that challenge, resilience, and suffering to also have a level hormone level, a balance and reward and recognition kind of system inside yourself, and the dopamine and so on. So for an example, a very simple example, how we can regulate our ability to enjoy things through struggle is, so if you're someone that works out every day with music, if you take that music away some days and put it back in, you'll find the days that you put it back in will be so much more fun, because you've gone through the days where you don't have music and it's a bit more of a struggle. That's the kind of scenarios that we need in our lives in every single day. And it's a very simple example. Another example is suffering through cold showers. Cold showers actually help us, scientifically they're finding out that helps us also with the regulation of dopamine, because we go through a suffering and we come out the other side. And they also say with cold showers, for example, they can be like an espresso, a cup of coffee. You wouldn't even need your coffee after that. Another example is going camping, taking all the amenities away. So you're not glamping. You're sleeping in sleeping with a sleeping bag, and you have cold showers, and you have to cook your own food, and there's no heating, and then you come back to civilization, and boy, is it luxury, right? So you really notice those things, but we don't notice those things. We don't even have a change in temperature in a house all year round. It's the same. When I grew up, it was freezing cold in the houses in Australia. You go numb and then you're okay. So suffering is really, really important to ourselves, but to suffer with purpose is the most important thing. And so going back to the 3 things that can change you, and going back to my first scenario. So when I really looked at myself after I wanted to, and I tried to leave the world, I really realized how much I wasn't working with my thoughts at all. I was saying the same things over again. I'm not worthy. I might be doing the exercise, improving, but I felt anxiety. When I got anxiety, I didn't breathe. When I felt a sense of something rally up inside me, I would numb it by going and exercising, and so on and so forth. But I didn't actually sit with it and deal with it. And when I had struggles in my day-to-day life, I would try to ignore them. When I really sat with it, what I realized was that ignoring was not an option anymore. And having thoughts that were not pleasurable and were dealing with my suffering were just as important, but what I needed to do was not attached to them. So like clouds in the sky, I don't feel well, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, I'm a failure. The clouds would slowly go. I would feel all the pain. I would breathe through it, and then I'm okay. I'm doing okay. I am here today. I am lucky to have this life. And I started to work into gratitude. So changing our thoughts is very, very important. So when I go running now, I'm like, I can do this. It's okay. Take a deep breath, enjoy the journey, one step at a time. And I start to enjoy my running more, rather than, am I going to get this 4-minute kilometer pace that I want to aim for? Oh, this is so hard, blah, blah, blah. Changing your thoughts is the first increment. The second one is your choices. So once you change your thoughts, you have to change your choices. So choices sit in a space and a capacity for us to actually allow us to move towards better actions. And choices allow us also to move to more thoughts of gratitude or thoughts of acceptance rather than resistance. And that's really important too. Now, why I bring that up too is because choices are the pivotal moment or catalyst where we can change anything in our lives. And they say, for example, with dopamine, if you talk about someone who's a drug addict, it's the preparing of the drug, getting the drug that creates all the dopamine high, the anticipation. Someone who is also a sex addict, often it's the anticipation to the act of, or the possibility of, and then they walk away. And there's actually been a few people that have admitted that too. They don't even need the act of intimacy itself. So the anticipation is where all our habits lie. So if you get up every morning, this is a great example. I'm doing this too. If you get up every morning and you are, let's have a look. I get up in the morning this morning and I looked at my phone. And when I look at my phone, I then get sidetracked. And then I'm not so productive. My anxiety increases. I notice all of this. And then when I go to train, it's very poor. Now, yesterday morning, I had to get up at 4:50. I had to get up a lot earlier because I had all these appointments. And I didn't look at my phone until after I had trained and done a lot of my work. My anxiety was less, my productivity was more, and my time wastage was less. Changing those habits allowed me to decrease my anxiety, make myself more productive and focused, and also utilize my time well. Changing our habits is what helps us to re-regulate our dopamine. Changing our habits is what helps us to re-regulate our life. Now, the problem is changing our habits. If you don't have a good reason why, it's very hard to change the habit. For example, if you move something in a cupboard, if you're not consciously aware when you're going, say, to the kitchen and you want to go get the salt and you move the salt over here, you're probably going to go straight away there, and you probably do it a couple of times before you actually get into the habit of the new habit where the salt is. And that's what happens to us. It's like, oh, I've already done it anyway. I already had my beer. I already picked up my phone. But if you pick up your phone and you haven't looked at it, you could put it away. That's a small step to changing the habit. So the second thing is our choices, because we need to change our habits. And the third thing is the action. So your actions are the last deliverable step to changing your life. Now, the problem with all this is it's super, super hard. The problem with all this is we are responsible for it. The problem with all of this is that you have to own your crap. You have to own, yeah, it was me that picked up the phone. It's not social media that's an issue. It's my ability to control my usage of it that's the issue. It's not that I'm tired that's the issue. It's my ability to realize that I would be tired, healthier and happier if I did the workout than tired, watch Netflix and feel shittier. When I was going through, and I still do some prehab because I still have some nerve sensations through this area and soreness due to the thoracic outlet syndrome. When I was doing the recovery was actually really painful and super painful, in fact. But overall, within the 24 hours afterwards, the pain subsided. But I had to go through the movements and therapies to be able to recover, and they created pain. But it was after 24 hours, if things were getting better, I knew I was on the right track. So the thing that I want you to be aware of is your thoughts, your choices and your actions are your superpower. They're inside of you. But you're going to have to go through the suffering and the pain and discomfort to change your comfort. And comfort doesn't always mean safety or security or better. Comfort is just a routine that we have. But for any of us to be successful and to have a good life, we have to do things that are uncomfortable. And if you look at athletes, for example, athletes are actually known to be, or anyone that has had success is known to be not so balanced. We're not looking for a balanced life and a perfect life. What we're looking for is our best life. And that's not going to be perfect. That's going to be a mixture of things that we do that make it the best life for us. So for some people like myself, I exercise more than others, but for other people they might study more than others. Heston Blumenthal is known to be very one way with his cooking. He's an excellent chef, but comes with that, trade-off as well. But we all have different areas we're going to give more to or less to. So we have to choose wisely where we do, but we have to, in the sum total of things, make a life that is ideal for us. And that percentage, although there's all these scientific studies and all these things, we're never all going to be the same. So that percentage is going to be different for everyone. The other thing is that nobody has the answers for us except for us. Nobody can help us except us in the long term over the large scale of things, because we have to do the thoughts, we have to do the long-term choices, and we have to do the actions. Everybody can give us information, life can give us information, but it's what we do with it and how we respond to it. I hope this helped.